Good morning, guys. My name is Rudo, and I'd like to share with you my top 10 tips on how to nail that CTA. So, basically, I'm an accounting tutor for university degree level, and for CTA, I specialize with auditing. And I decided to make this YouTube video for the benefit of my students, my potential students, and anyone else who is pursuing the CA route, and for those who have already gone through CTA, for them to reflect over what they went through and maybe to be able to share with others how they did it. So without further ado, let's begin. So my first tip is know your content. So here what I'm saying is do not go into a CTA test or exam without having studied some topic which is in the scope of the test or in the scope of the exam. Do not go into a test where you're going to be examined on IFRS 15 and you do not know IFRS 15B1. Do not get into the exam where you're going to be examined about work and you don't know the cost of preference shares. So I know that you study a lot when you're doing CTA, but you need to make sure that you know your content. There are a few things that are within our control as students when it comes to CTA, and knowing your content is one of them. So please study even those boring and difficult concepts. Just study them, because I'm not saying that you need to be proficient with all the topics that you're going to cover in financial accounting, but for you to be able to know the challenges that you have with IFRS 9, you need to actually have gone through IFRS 9 to say, okay, fine, I have challenges with financial assets held at amortized cost. So you need to have gone through it for you to be able to identify your problem areas and for you to work on them. So yes, my very first tip is know your content. My next tip would be put in the hours. You can't expect to pass CTA when you're lazy. You need to make sure that you actually apply yourself, you put in the hours. I know that a lot of us, when we actually then do CTA, you probably have a job, so you've got client deadlines to meet, you've got work commitments, but you need to make sure that you put in the work, you make time for your CTA. So yeah, I think the second most important tip for CTA is for you to put in the hours. My next tip is practice. So you need to do a lot of questions for you to be able to really understand each of the different modules. It also helps with time management. It helps with familiarizing yourself with different industries, and that is very key for modules like auditing and for management accounting and financial management, because you're saying that for you to be able to identify risks as an auditor, you need to be well versed with the industry. And I'm not saying that when you do a question you're probably going to get the same industry that you have worked on, but I'm saying that, let's say if you have done work on food processing and manufacturing industry, or steel manufacturing, automotive manufacturing industries, and then when you then get in the examination, there is a question on plastic processing and manufacturing industry. So this is a different industry, but there are a lot of things that are very common in manufacturing industries. So having gone through manufacturing industries, it actually gives you an added advantage, and also you understand better how different concepts are examinable, and that is particularly helpful for financial accounting, where you're saying that there are different ways in which maybe leases could be examined, for example. So if you go through lots of questions, you're less likely to be surprised in the exam. So my fourth tip is know your exam technique per module. So you're doing 4 modules and you're expected to be proficient in all modules, but the way you go about them might be different. The way you discuss financial reporting problems might be different to the way you discuss your financial management problems or your costing problems. So you need to understand how those differ and even how those interrelate. So if it comes to the layout that's expected from text, you need to know where you're going to put the references to the sections in the acts, and for references to case law, you need to know how you really structure your how, what, and why in the auditing questions. So you just need to make sure that you go through knowing the exam technique. My next tip is identify your weaknesses early. So this is something that comes with in collaboration with the other 4 tips that I've already shared with you. So when you practice and you put in the hours and you know your exam technique, then you're probably going to know your weaknesses, and these might be technical weaknesses. These might even be weaknesses in terms of studying patterns, and probably you prefer studying auditing more, or you prefer studying financial reporting more. So those are the type of weaknesses that you need to identify early. And I know I'm a tutor, and that might be some advertisement scheme, but yeah, please, if you need help, seek help early. And the next tip number 6, which is one of the most important tips, is to do not panic. CTA, it takes a toll on you mentally and emotionally as well, and financially for some people as well. So you really need to be strong, because there are times where you probably feel like giving up, but do not give up. I think I remember myself when I got results for the 3rd test. I wanted to give up. I called my mom and I said, you know what, I'm done. I'm not going to continue with this, because I did not see the point when I just kept on failing. So I know that a lot of us will get to that point, but you need to find a reason to go on. So really, you need to be emotionally strong. Cry if you need to, but pick yourself up and continue. Have those positive thoughts. So tip number 7 is to surround yourself with the right people, supportive family, supportive peers who do not compare performances, because everyone's experience is different. So you must not surround yourself with people who bring you down. Supportive friends who understand that you can't hang out because you really have to study. Yeah, so you just need to make sure you've got the right people who are going to bring you up. And yeah, so moving on to tip number 8, you need to take time to relax. So don't take too much time, be disciplined. So maybe once a week you give yourself maybe even a day or some hours, depending on how much time you actually then spend studying throughout the week, where you relax, you do something that you love. I love baking, so I would spend my time baking when I could. So that's how I would relax. So you just think of a way that you relax. Then when you are relaxed, you can get back into your books. Yeah, de-stress, get enough sleep, drink enough water, stay healthy. Tip number 9 is to stay abreast with current affairs. So you're trying to get a professional qualification, you're trying to show the examiners and the boards that you know what, you're ready to join the profession. So as such, you need to make sure that you stay up to date with current affairs, and you know what's happening technology wise, you know the new accounting and auditing issues, because like right now what is probably trending is COVID-19 issues. So you need to know all about that. You need to know new government legislation and regulations. And if you are in Zimbabwe, ultimately we are examined by SAICA. So of course we try and localize, but the issues that we deal with are issues that are happening in South Africa. So don't wait to be to feel like you're disadvantaged in the exam. Make sure that you stay up to date with South African current affairs. So I'll move on to the final tip number 10. So tip number 10 is pray. So basically, I will not impose my beliefs on anyone, but I believe that we are spiritual beings, one way or the other, and that a sufficient amount of grace is required for one to actually be successful with CTA. So really take your time to visit your spiritual side, pray about your exams, pray for strength, pray for even physical fitness, because I remember when I was writing exams I actually felt sick and I was preparing for my exams. So those are things that might happen because of the stress that CTA brings. So really pray, stay spiritual, stay strong. So yeah, this brings me to the end of my first YouTube video. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. For current CTA students, please do recommend in the comment section other videos that you'd like me to do. And for those who have completed their CTA, please do add on to the tips that I've shared and share your own experiences on how you went through the CTA journey. Thank you all so much. Till next time, it's bye-bye.